Welcome to another episode of the Pride of the North Sports with your host, me. Thank you for allowing me to come into your computer and chat a little bit. We have another home game in Detroit, as everybody knows, tomorrow at 3 o'clock. I believe Fox or NBC. Actually, it's NBC. On NBC at 3 o'clock because Tirico, whatever you say, is doing the broadcast. And I do like his broadcasts because he actually is a Detroiter and it means something to him. And also, he's just a good broadcaster. Play-by-play broadcaster. And also his colored commentary. I can't think of his name right off the bat. It doesn't really matter. But if you are going to watch the game, I would advise go between NBC's broadcast or audio and 97.1 The Ticket's broadcast with Dan Miller, because if you were watching and listening, you heard the most exciting broadcast with Dan Miller's play-by-play call yesterday. Last week. It was phenomenal. It gave me the goosebumps just listening to Dan Miller call the game. He's just like the rest of us. He might not be from Michigan, but he's put his heart and soul into covering the Lions, all the heartbreaks and everything else, like us Detroiters and Michiganders have gone through. So he is one of us, Dan Miller, and I do appreciate and thank him for being so passionate about the broadcasting the play-by-play with Lomas Brown on 97.1 The Ticket. So thank you, Dan Miller, for doing what you do and being awesome with that. So that was not one of the things I wanted to get into today, but there's three topics I want to get into today in this episode before the game tomorrow on NBC at 3 o'clock. One, the bandwagon, the Lions bandwagon. Dan Campbell talked about that earlier in the week, and he's right. He's right about it. We'll get into that as one of the topics today. Preview and analyzing the upcoming game tomorrow between the Bucks and the Lions. Lions being at home, of course, you know that. And then has Holmes, Campbell, and Golf cemented their legacy here in Detroit. Okay, so first things first. Let's get into the Campbell bandwagon comment that he made, and I do agree with him a lot on this one. Actually, 100%, because the national media, everybody else is joining Detroit now to root for him. Where were you when we had the lean 0-16 season, the not so glamorous seasons, and the Matt Millen era that we all want to forget, and we're kind of forgetting it now because we got a winner in Holmes and Campbell in Golf. So I believe that Campbell is right on. There's no you missed the train. There's no bandwagon for the national media, the sports journalists and broadcasters that don't follow the Lions like we do. You missed it. And that goes into my point for some of the celebrities too. For instance, Eminem I have no problem with Eminem being at the game and rooting for our team, his team, our team. He follows the teams. He's here. He's got his home here. He he's a Detroiter, and there's no way you're going to convince me that he is a wagoner or whatever you want, however you want to say that. Tim Allen is another one. He roots for the Lions no matter what. So does Jeff Daniels and other ones like D12. And for you people out there that don't listen to hip hop, you listen to other things. When Tirico said that his bodyguard was behind him, that wasn't his bodyguard. That was a member of D12 in the hip hop group, or a member of the hip hop group D12 that has been friends with Eminem forever. Okay, so that wasn't some random bodyguard that he had with him. Okay, it was actually a band member of the D12 that Eminem was in a couple of their videos. Okay, he supports them. And they support him. So that was good. I like to see that not just Eminem, but D12 was there too. And then but on the other hand, there's other bandwagoners that just joined in, like Ninja, the streamer. Don't like him, hate him. He can go to hell for all I care. He's a bandwagoner. He only comes when when the Lions are doing good or has something on the line. He lives in one of the gated communities in Chicago now, and he's not a Detroiter anymore. He wanted to leave Michigan and go to grassier greens, I guess is what you can call it. And so did Kid Rock. Kid Rock's not Detroit either. Some of you might disagree with me. I know that both of them were born and raised here, but they went wanted to live somewhere else. Kid Rock is down in Tennessee, near Nashville somewhere in the countryside. He only comes when it's convenient for him or something special's about to happen. He doesn't watch Detroit sports like we do. He's just a bandwagoner too. I just don't like Kid Rock or Ninja, so I have a little bit of a bias when it comes to those two. But and other celebrities like them. But the real fans are Tim Allen, Eminem, D12, Kelvin Johnson, Barry Sanders, Tirico, Jeff Daniels, people like that. We do want at the game. That's what Campbell was talking about. People like that are invited to come. We love that they come, and they always cheer on our Lions with us. They've been here with the good and the bad. People like Eminem and Ninja, they only come when it's convenient and they want to be a part of something that's good that's coming on with the city and its sports teams. So you're not invited, Rock or Ninja. As much as you're going to probably be at the game, you're not invited. Not in my book. So let's go on to the next topic. The one we would like to discuss, the team itself going against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, coming back to Detroit to Ford Field for the second time in a row in a week in a playoff game. The division is on playoff game is at stake for a chance to go to the NFC Championship game with whoever wins the Green Bay San Francisco game. So let's get into it a little bit. Quarterbacks. Let's do quarterbacks first. I think Goff, hands down, is the better quarterback. We could say that Mayfield is on fire and he's got a hot hand, but after what I saw with Goff and how he was slinging the rock, he is just fine. He's a great field general, great teammate, and he's a footballer. Okay, I give the edge to Goff and Detroit on that one. Offensive line, we know what that offensive line can do. They can pave some ways, but they are going against the defensive line. That's a little bit on fire right now. But the thing is, in my opinion, I think the Rams' defense was better, or their defensive line was better. They had a couple outstanding rookies. They got the Aaron McDonald on there, so I think it's going to be a hard go, but this Tampa Bay defensive line, I don't think compares to that Rams, at least star power wise. But I mean, they could still shock. They can get through. Let's not be any doubting that by any figment of the imagination. They can rock, and they can get to the quarterback. They can do what they need to do. They do some stunts and blitzes. So, but I still give the edge to the Lions' offensive line on that side of the ball. Now, when it comes to the Tampa Bay and the defensive line of the Lions, that's more of an even kill matchup. I believe if they can get pressure in the interior offensive line, they can flush Mayfield out, and maybe they can blitz some corners on the side, or a safety or a linebacker like Anzalone, or even Campbell, or Sutton, or even Branch, because he's done it quite a bit this year too. So if you can get them to flush out, yeah, because Tampa Bay Buccaneers tackles are way better in the second half than they were in the first half when they first met Detroit and Tampa Bay. So we'll see. We'll see what that's going to be a good matchup, because they'll have to double team Hutchinson. McNeil is doing really well. We'll see if we have Houston or not. I don't think we're going to have him again. We're probably not going to see Houston in probably till the championship game. But if then, it might be even too late, because from what I was reading, they only have a limited time to activate him until that's cut off too. So it should be more evenly matched between the Tampa Bay and Lions defensive line. So now, talking about the linebacking core and defensive backfield for Tampa Bay, they're a lot better than our defensive back and linebackers, at least right now. And I do give, it's hard to say, because our wide receivers were getting open, breaking loose, and Goff was getting it in there. So to me, that's going to be another good matchup. Can the Bucs do enough to stop or slow down that passing game? Will they blitz a lot more? Will they not? Because like some of the analysts this week the best way to slow down a pass rush or a blitz is to run the ball. And of course, we have one of the best O lines that paved the way for our running backs, Gibbs and Montgomery, and they can do the job. And they also can go out of the backfield and catch screens or, you know, a back pass, you know. So we'll see. And then you have the tight end Laportier. I love calling him Laportier because it just sounds so awesome. A lot of you are probably like, why do you call him Laportier? Because he's got an A and it's French. So I know it's Laporte, but to me it's Laportier because the guy has deserved that finesse, that extra X factor in what he does. He is a phenomenal rookie. He's not a rookie anymore, but he is a hell of a pick that Holmes did. So, and that's the other thing. Since they've been using Laportier a lot more, they're going to have to account for him, and there's going to be a linebacker or a nickel or dime back on him, and can they match up? That's going to be a match that Laportier is going to probably win nine times out of 10 or 10 times out of 10 because the Rams had no answer for him, and he was still hobbled almost, you know. So I think, and Laportier is going to have a more expanded role this week in the offense, and I believe the game plan is going to be Detroit running that ball, getting it to Laportier, and once the defense loosens up a little bit, maybe some play action plays or passes, and get Reynolds and Raymond and Williamson downfield to stretch the field on the Bucs secondary, and have those linebackers move back a little bit from the offensive line, and then you can run it even more down their throats and run the game clock out once everything's said and done. So we'll see. We'll see how the matchups go. Then on the Bucs side, they have Mayfield is, like I said, he's hot. He's getting it to his wide receivers. If they protect him, he can get it to them, and they will stretch the field just like Stafford. But Mayfield's no Stafford, though. Let's get that straight. As much as I hate Stafford, Mayfield's no Stafford, okay? Slinging that ball, okay? So he might be able to get some plays, and he's going against a Lions secondary that actually wants to win, unlike the Eagles. They just imploded, and they just looked like they didn't want to be there. They wanted to end their season and go home and end the nightmare. That's the thing that people are not saying, is the Eagles just imploded and didn't want to be there. They didn't want to play for their coach. But our defense wants to play for our coach, and they will get after it. It's not going to be as easy as some of these wide receivers think it's going to be. Mike Evans might have a day. That's fine. So did every other big-time wide receiver the last 5 to 6 weeks on that defensive backfield. But it doesn't really matter. Have your day, because the offense can go with any offense, and the defense can at least stop you a couple times so they can win the game. So it's going to be a close game. I think Bucs are not going to Bucs are going to cover the 6 or 7 points. It's only going to be, in my mind, it's going to be like 24-21, or maybe 20-17, something like around there. So, but with the Lions win, okay. And then for my last topic, the one I would like to discuss quite a bit is, and actually, let's do the coaching matchups too. I forgot about that. I think actually Tampa Bay actually has a edge over the Campbell head coaches because they have the experience. They have gone to a Super Bowl, won a Super Bowl, and they know how to know nothing's too big for them right now. Okay, they're focused. Okay, now I know, but Campbell's is going to have his group focus. AG will have his guys focused. BJ will have his guys focused. They'll have a good game plan. It's just, can they tell their guys, we need to get to business. We need to focus on what we need to do to win this game. Sound out. Close out the sound from everything else. You got to work, and that's what the Tampa Bay coaching staff knows. They know, they've been there. They know what to say. They know what to do. How to get their players ready for these big situations because they've been there. They have players that have been there. So we'll see how the experience also pans out for the Lions too, because the Bucs been there. Even Mayfield's been in and won a playoff game. So we'll see. Well, Lions won a playoff game. It was a very emotional one, but can they refocus and win another one? We'll see, but I think they can do it. So, but for my third and last topic, have the three men of the rebuild and reamped Detroit Lions, have they cemented their legacy in Detroit for you? I'm going to give you a couple arguments why. 3 years. Only took them 3 years. Well, actually, you can only be honest with you, it only took them actually one year, 1 or 2 years, because they almost went to the playoffs because they were 9-7 or 9-8 or whatever it was last season, and just missed it because of Mayfield couldn't beat Seattle for us. So that's one. They only have one losing season under Campbell and Holmes. Okay, so really, they have. Campbell, our head coach, is phenomenal. He's got his guys pumped up and focused and coached up so well, and he's put together a great coaching staff that is second to none. Okay? Holmes has done whatever Campbell has asked of him on the type of player that he needs and wants to coach here for this franchise, and Holmes has brought those players in, and he's done a phenomenal job at doing it. They've worked together, Holmes and Campbell. I have not seen a GM and a head coach work so well together on their first stint as leading an organization. Okay, you do have like Chris Spielman and Mrs. Firestone started all this, and you have to give Chris Spielman, but Chris Spielman and Mrs. Firestone have already cemented their legacy in this organization, in this community, and in Detroit. Okay, Holmes and Campbell and Golf are guys that were brought in to do a job and make this a winning organization and a winning city once again, and they have done it. Thirdly, golf. Yes, he's had some ups and downs throughout this season. Mostly, you know, he had a time when he threw three or four picks in three or more games in a row. Okay, but he found a way. Ben Johnson and Mark Bruner found a way to help golf get through it, work through it, and seeing what he sees, and you know, making sure they correct those mistakes on the reads and not trying to push too much. You know, trying not to do too much, and they got it right again. You just needed a simple adjustment somewhere. Couple simple adjustments. Ben Johnson, Mike Bruner, been there, especially Mark Bruner. He was a number one quarterback for a few different NFL clubs, and he is a winner at this level. Mark Bruner was a excellent. He not maybe Tom Brady or Mahomes or Stafford throwing arm ability, but he was a winner, and he was a field general, and that's what golf is. And Ben Johnson also, they went back to the board. They redid everything. They got golf back on track. Yes, I know there was a little bit of a hiccup with almost a mistake by golf last week with the Rams, but you know what? He'll learn from that and he'll move on. And the situation is not too big for golf, and they're doing well. And that's why golf is cementing his legacy here. But the most thing that we can't forget, of course, as Lions fans, is win and losses, of course. Golf, Holmes, and Campbell have, for the fourth argument, they've won a playoff game and won it at home. And they've got a second chance to go on a winning streak in the playoffs. If they win tomorrow, this city will be elated and ready to burst into probably San Francisco, ready to roar, to give the 49ers a game. As we all want, we want Green Bay to probably win. I do, because we want another home game here, so we can maybe win that game and go on to the Super Bowl. But we got to take one game at a time. We got to win this divisional game first, and then think about the future after we win that game tomorrow. If we can take care of business with the Bucks. So that is it for me. Thank you for joining me at the Pride of the North Sports. I do appreciate you coming in. Please hit that follow, subscribe, or like button. And thank you very much for your time, for letting me into your house and onto your computer. Have a good one, and later on.